Now, a lot of people, when they get into memory training, they run into a lot of problems. And one of the big problems is when you're going to memorize, the recall is greatly affected. Now, why is that? Because when you do memory training, obviously the recall does improve because you're using the techniques and skills, but it still affects recall. And this is a common thing that I often see from people starting out memory training, even some of my memory coaching clients as well, that have this issue. And what I often say to people is that it is really about how you train, not so much how you learn the techniques. The more you practice memory techniques, the more you're going to understand how to visualize information, how to encode a lot better. These are some of the skills that's needed to be able to take something that doesn't make any sense and translate it in a way that the brain sees and connects with it. The issues could be that you're memorizing really well and then you go to do your recall and you go, hang on, I thought I memorized those words really well, those numbers, and I got stuck. What's going on? I can't recall these images or these stories. And often what happens is that it's always at the start, and once you get on a bit of a roll, you tend to get better throughout the middle. And sometimes it can drop off at the end, especially if you're under time sort of training. You tend to rush the end as well. So here's a little trick that'll really help you with memorization and your recall as well. So it'll do both at the same time. I'm giving this tip because it's something that personally affected me. When I was traveling overseas to the World Memory Championships in London, I was on the plane from China, because I went from Australia to China to London. So 12-hour flight. And instead of memorizing, I thought, well, I don't want to use up my locations because as you may or may not know, if you keep using up your locations, then you've really got nothing to go back to memorize. So I didn't want to waste my location. So what I did as part of my training was just visualize the numbers, visualize the words, visualize the cards. What I mean by that is just go through your peg words, go through the words and see if you can get a really strong image. So if I see the word cat, well, don't just picture any old cat. Do you have a personal cat? Can you hear it hissing? Is it scratched you? Try and get as much detail as you can for that word. If it's an abstract word like imagination, right? What do you see for imagination? You have to really get specific with it. Do you see a lot of color? Do you see the brain? What do you see? Everyone's got a different image of imagination. And because it's abstract, it's going to be a lot more challenging. So that's what you can do to prepare yourself to improve your recall and obviously improve your memory training, because the more you train effectively, the better you're going to get as well with the recall. Also, you can train this while reading as well. Now that's another big thing. You don't have to know memory techniques, right? These are for people that have just come new to the channel and want to learn more about memory techniques. They've got no clue. Well, even if you pick up a book and start reading, as long as you visualize what you read and try not visualize every single word, but visualize the context, that's another good way of warming up to memory training. Because if you warm up your brain before memorizing something, what's going to happen is when you do go to memorize it, it's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot faster. It's probably going to be more effective as well. So it's just like exercising. Before you exercise, you don't just get into it straight away. You got to warm up the muscles, right? You got to warm yourself up. And as soon as you do that, you've loosened up, you're good. That's when you can get into it. So same thing with memory training as well. Warm up by just using visualization. You don't have to memorize. You don't have to go through your locations, right? Just visualize the words, visualize the cards, numbers, names even. I used to train for names just on LinkedIn, on my feed. Just look at the person's name, look at their title, and see if you can make up some sort of a story and then move along. You don't have to go back and recall that because this is part of the training. So that's what, and also Memory League website as well. If you don't know about that, check out memoryleague.com. Great place to train your memory. You can get on there and instead of just testing your recall, just go through and memorize, visualize. When it comes to the recall stage, just skip it and go back to the visualization process as well. another fantastic way. So they're my tips for you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. More than happy to help you out. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.